going on, guys, and welcome back to our Survive in Java series. And today we are going to be finally taking on the next project that was given to us by the project wall, which is a mushroom farm. And I couldn't really decide whether or not I wanted to work towards just normal mushrooms or mushroom blocks, so I've decided to create farms for both. And in order to do them, I have put aside all of these resources. So we've got a whole bunch of different goodies set aside for this farm, because we're actually implementing a sort of 3 or 4 separate individual type of farms for each individual type of block, really. I don't think I'm going to... Have I got enough room? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I should have more room for the rest of these boxes. Otherwise my maths is crap. Okay, and hopefully we've got enough rockets to actually get us there. And that should be my phone being on mute, but it's definitely not. Now, in order to do this project, we are going to be going over to a mushroom island. And the only one that I could find that was within the 5,000 sort of block radius I'm trying to stay within, just for the sake of when it comes to well trimming, to try to keep that a little bit easier. There was one that I managed to find that was, I think, the only one still left inside the area. We're looking for the red one. Yeah, here we go. So it's all the way down here. Oh, and it's swapped over to firework rockets. Ow. And I can't be asked to swap back right now. Get these. We can just keep on using the fireworks, which is fine. Ow. Cloud did come over and help me clear out a tunnel all the way over there. So we've got this little section here, which we can fly straight down. And then a portal leads to a nice large mushroom island. So we're going to be using mushroom cows for getting the normal mushrooms, like the brown and red mushrooms. And then we're going to be creating a separate farm for actually growing the larger mushrooms in order to get the mushroom blocks. But in order to do that, we're going to have to create a relatively large flat area on this island. And as you could probably tell, the island is pretty big, so we have actually got room of expanding different farms on the island, pending if it's going to fit the theme or not. But what I need to do is actually take down a large section of this, and I'm thinking near the nether portal, around this area, probably down to, I'd say, around about this, probably this layer here, Y70, so we can just jump straight into a time lapse of me flattening it all, and then I will get the sort of farms in place, because it's a lot easier for me to explain to you how the farms function and work once they're actually built, rather than me doing stop gaps in between them. Like the mechanisms behind using mushrooms for the actual mushrooms is that you can shear them, and each time you shear them you get guaranteed, I think it's 5 mushrooms. But we are going to have to try to convert some of these into the brown mushrooms in order to get the brown mushrooms. So that should be fun, because we're going to have to wait around for a thunderstorm and put down some lightning rods and then sort of protect them from lightning strikes, because if they get struck again by lightning, they go from brown to red. So yeah, I've got to sort out a system in order to protect them from that. But nevertheless, let's just jump straight into a time lapse for me flattening this and getting the actual farms up, so then we can get the mushrooms into place. We probably need to breed them up as well, but I have got all of the resources set aside in order to do that. We are going to be doing it on this level here, so let's put down all of them. We've got a bunch of bone meal blocks, some mud, hay bales. That is my tools. Okay, and then for some reason I've picked up all of these other random bits and pieces. Do that and do that. And we can put my birthday pearls in there. Okay, yeah, so let's just jump straight into the time lapse of me flattening this out. Alright guys, so it may be looking a little bit more chaotic than what it should do, and that's because everything here is actually relatively simple and there's no sort of complex redstone mechanisms behind it. It's just a lot basically. So the sections that we've got here, the section over there with all of the mushrooms, these are our mushroom farms, the normal mushrooms. Like, if you didn't know, when you shear a red mushroom, you get red mushrooms, 5 of them, guaranteed each time. And then when you shear a brown one, although he's all the way over on the hoppers, can we pick them up? We get 5 brown mushrooms. So, guaranteed 5 off each cow, and then we also get the surplus of the steaks or the raw beef, as well as the leather when we go and sort them all. But, that is our normal sort of mushroom farm. So we've got the red ones going to there, brown ones going to there, and we've got our shears going to here. We've got a whole ton of cows in pods at the top here for breeding. So all that we have to do is come along here, just breed them all up. They have their little ones, the little ones fall into the water below. They then get funneled down into that little shearing chamber area until they grow up, and when they grow up you can then shear them, and then after you shear them you go through and you slaughter them all, which is the fun and games of this farm design. But it's also a case that you're not relying on just the mushroom spreading mechanism in order to, can I do it? There you go. In order to get mushrooms, because the mushroom spreading tends to be pretty slow, and I can give you a demonstration of that with the next section of our mushroom farm. And the next section of our mushroom farm is the one in order to harvest and collect all the actual mushroom blocks. So the red mushroom blocks, the brown mushroom blocks, as well as the mushroom stems. Now I do need to say thank you to Clowd, because he actually came over here and he helped me build the entire thing. He helped me level the terrain out, he helped me build both sections of the farm, and he was actually he halved the building time completely. Now the only bit of redstone behind this that is significant is underneath. We've got a whole bunch of basically observer clocks that are just linked up to sticky pistons. So then when you activate the lever at the very end here, pushes redstone block down to ignite this redstone line. It then sends the signal all the way down here, activating all of these observer clocks. They point into a dropper, which is then pointing into a dispenser, and the dispenser is then going to be bone mealing these mushrooms. The mushrooms, they are obviously on the slow spreading side, because I've had to cover all of this in glass. Now, if you're wondering why I didn't half slab it, it's because sometimes when the mushroom grows, it will turn this block here into a dirt block, and having more mycelium around it is guaranteed this one to be spread to mycelium a lot quicker. When that spreads to mycelium a lot quicker, it means that another mushroom can grow there, and we're limiting the amount of space that mushrooms can grow around it by having the clear glass sitting on top. We've also had to, I actually had to drop the hopper that goes into a dropper, and then with the barrel sitting on top of the hopper, because red mushrooms have the nasty habit of actually growing over and destroying tile entities. So it can destroy shulkers, it can destroy barrels, it can destroy dispensers, it can destroy pretty much anything that I actually put there. And then I did actually test it to see if it would destroy the bedrock, and no, it definitely doesn't. But I'm fairly sure the reason that you use them to break the end gateway portals is why it's like pretty much their key features that they're able to grow through blocks, like similar to the way that the dark oaks used to be able to do that. Like, used to use them to break through bedrock. That's like going back around about 5 updates ago though. So, but yeah, what we can do now is actually give a demonstration. This mushroom in the minecart, by the way, has been circling this farm for ages. The redstone that you're seeing on top is completely unnecessary. The only thing that is necessary is this block that's directly above it. It doesn't have to be an observer. It could be any solid block whatsoever. It just limits the height that a mushroom can actually grow, because you don't want it growing too far that you can't actually reach it. So if we do this, and then we should see them all pop up, and then all the note blocks will go off as it goes down the line. So we've got a whole line of our brown mushrooms that have grown. Happy days there, and we can turn you off. make sure we get the same for the red. And they're spaced perfectly distance away from one another. That this one obviously hasn't got a mushroom that's actually grown there yet, so it's just laying through bone meal. But yeah, so it's just basically where the mushrooms meet one another is obviously you're losing one block of growing from each mushroom, but because they don't interfere with them selves growing next to one another, it's not too much of a loss. The brown mushrooms did have to be spaced a little further away. I did try them closer, but when I did try them closer, it sort of just did not work. So what we want to do, make sure we've got our Silk Touch. That's Fortune. Let's hop into Discord. You are Silk Touch, and then we just send ourselves back on the way. So then you sort of just look up and you can sort of get all of the blocks from here, and you sort of just run through the entire farm, breaking all the blocks, and then you just run through afterwards. I am tinkering around with a collection system using water streams and then having a proper minecart underneath the block where the actual mushroom grows, because obviously it's one block lower down. So, and then let's do this. So it is like one block lower down, so the water streams could possibly wash it down into that gap and be picked up by a proper minecart. But it's just something that I've not really had much success with yet. So it's still in the early phases, and this is like a design thing that I've just sort of messed around with over the past week, and I do enjoy messing around with sort of farm designs that I don't usually do. We can just sort of stay here rather than swinging our axe up and down, and then on the next pass we can just heighten the height of it. Now I do know for a fact there are better fully auto mushroom farms out there. But this one, I don't know, I just wanted it not to be completely fully automatic, so you're not just AFK holding 2 buttons down on your mouse in order for it to work. I wanted it to have some sort of interaction and sort of quirkiness to it, really, because I hate coming to an area just to go AFK in area. Like, our Guardian farm and our Iron farms look really good, but at the same time it's like you go there and you literally just, that's what I mean about the dirt blocks appearing, because the mushroom stems are blocking off the light to the actual block. But yeah, it's a really nice place to sort of visit them sort of farms, but at the same time, just going AFK there, which is how comes I'm tending to use bots to do the AFK in, because quite frankly, if I'm on to play a game, I don't fancy just standing there being AFK for hours and hours. By the way, I've not done a harvest of this one. The original farm design that I did do was about half the size of this, and I thought, well, I may as well just extend it, considering how large the actual mushroom island is. I'll grab you as well. Thank you. And let's see what we got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, nearly 8.5 stacks of brown mushroom blocks and nearly a stack of the white mushroom stems. That's not too bad, actually. I'm fairly sure that we're going to be getting a lot more of the red mushroom blocks, so we probably want to make more room in our pockets. Where is... I've got my tool chest somewhere, so I don't really need the fortune axe on me. And I don't need my channeling trident on me anymore. I also don't need this random bit of dirt. Where are you from? There. Okay, we are actually going to have to get rid of the mushroom that's been... Yeah, you... dude, come on, guy. Freaking mushrooms. I did actually catch a clip of a wandering trader who landed inside the minecart, and he dragged his llamas around for ages. So while we're waiting for this guy to come here, I'll show you that clip. Okay, yeah, so, oh no. Oh my god. Maybe I should just have like a minecart station that I can just go to and hop in a minecart. Yeah, I also did luckily get the thunderstorm that came in order for me to get the brown cows while me and Cloud was building farm. Thank you. Okay, just do this. So I was able to get them and then breed them up in a pen and then sort of drag them 2 by 2 into their pods. Otherwise I would have been waiting there for ages afterwards. Although I'm fairly sure storms are happening a lot more frequently than what they used to. Which is a little bit odd because it's like whenever I'm on, it's rare that I'm on for longer than a few hours without a storm happening. And I don't know if that is because we have got bots that are on, and when they don't sleep, obviously it's not resetting the rain and storm cycle. But yeah, I'm not too sure. Going to be one of them things that I'll have to sort of keep an eye on as to when the bots are on or not. But with how often I'm running stuff through my sorting, I tend to always have a bot on. Just to save me having to be static and AFK when I'm actually looking forward to playing the game. But yeah, I do like this farm, and the fact is that I actually really like the red mushroom blocks. For decoration wise and design wise, it's got a sort of very fantasy themed style to them, which I do really like. So I probably will end up using these quite a bit more now that we've got a way of obviously getting mass quantities of them very, very easily. Just at the cost of bone meal, and obviously bone meal is not too much of an expense. The thing that I am going to have to think about automating in this area is a wheat farm. Getting like a villager run wheat farm on the go, because them cows go through the wheat very, very quickly. It's like I think there's 20 pods, and so there's 40 cows, so it's like nearly a stack and a half per each breeding cycle. But technically it's like 1 wheat per 5 mushrooms is the trade-off that you're getting. Is it? Nice. It would be 2 wheat per 5 mushrooms that you get. Not that there's much use for the normal mushrooms, but yeah, I didn't really have the choice as to whether or not this farm was completely necessary or not. It's more than things that it's on the board and the board picked it, so this is what we're doing. But what we're going to do is, while I go around and collect this, we can see what the end tally is once I've done this, because otherwise I'm going to be here for a lot longer. No, my pockets are full. And we've still got a bunch more to pick up. Let me quickly drop these off, and then we can see what the end tally is. Okay, you go there. That, do that. And that's my phone. But we can have a look at that momentarily. Let me finish grabbing these, just so we can see what the end tally on our mushroom farm is. Like, I knew for a fact we was going to... Ow, I'm using the wrong rockets again. I knew for a fact that we was going to get the a lot more reds than we were browns, because obviously there's just a lot more of them. So a stack and a half of stems, and let's shimmy these guys along. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 13 and a bit stacks of the red mushroom blocks. So like two and a half harvests of this, and you'll have like a full shulker load of the red mushroom blocks, which make it a very not impossible choice to do a large scale build out of using them blocks now. Not that I've got any plans for a large scale build using mushroom blocks, but nevertheless, the fact is that we've got them should we want to. Now, also, I don't know if you noticed in the time lapse that Cloud was actually very courteous in colour coordinating with the farm design, because he came along with his mushroom hide hat and his red netherite trim armour, just so he would sort of match the build theme. So I do appreciate that. I didn't really notice it until I was messing around with the replay footage. All of these guys need to be murdered as well, but you know what, you can all just be murdered. We can see if we get a brown mushroom. Hey, brown mushroom head. Awesome. I needed one of them. It's one of the heads I've not actually got yet. Can we just finish murdering you guys? That's pretty much this area done and dusted for now. What I may do in between this episode and the next is implement a automatic wheat farm. I did put a normal wheat farm at the back end here, just so that we've got wheat on hand for breeding these guys, but I honestly don't think that's going to cut it. I think having like 1, 2 and 3 different fully auto wheat farms run by villagers should produce enough wheat to keep this area sort of stocked on the cows. Okay, I think all of the cows have grown up while I've been doing that harvesting, so we can actually run through and go pop, 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 pop on all of these guys and get all of the mushrooms. Thank you. Okay, you're done. Give everyone a nice haircut. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So, do they automatically just pop into your inventory, or do some of them actually go down into the hoppers that I've wasted my time placing underneath if they don't? But then again, if my pockets are full, then obviously it's good for them to have somewhere to go. Dude. Although when you breed too many of them, I can see it's probably becoming an issue trying to get the shears in on them. Move. Let me shear him. Are their hitboxes bigger by any chance? No, he's just like perfectly slacked behind a whole group. Come on. Oh, come on, there's like a tiny little gap. There we go. I got him. Yeah, so I'm going to go through, shear all of these guys, see what our end mushroom tally is before we go murdering the rest of these cows. Alright, so nearly, well, just over 4.5 sacks of the red mushrooms, and we've got just over 2.5 sacks of the brown ones. That's because I bred up the red ones a couple more times compared to the brown, just because I managed to fill out their pods a lot quicker than I did on the brown ones, because obviously I couldn't just go around the mushroom island grabbing them, like the wild ones that are out there. But yeah, these ones now, I've been over here for the better part of around about half hour now whilst I've been doing this bit of recording, and as you can see, the mycelium has grown on all of the patches, but there's not a single mushroom that probably has. Oh, there's one that has spread in the time that I've been here. It just goes to show how slow the mushroom spreading can be if the configuration's not done correctly. And the more mushrooms there are in an area and the more spaces you've got for that mushroom to grow, the better. But because there's so many solid blocks around this one, it is checking to see if it can spread to these ones, but there's glass there blocking it from doing so, so it doesn't fill the quota. So it is just a very, very slow process of it happening. But that's probably going to do it for this area. I need to go and pack up all of this stuff and run all of these random shulkers. Actually, I'll probably leave these here until I build the auto wheat farms. I'll probably get Sai or Clowd to help me, because I've not actually built one of them before, so I don't really know how to do them all that well. But what we can do is head back to base now and give another spin our wheel to see what our next main project's going to be, just so I can get my brain start thinking on that in the background while I do other bits and pieces. But I'm going to leave Steve here, who's got a block above his head now, because he kept on spawning freaking phantom Steve. While these mushrooms spread. Like, it's very simple. If I really wanted to make it quick, I could just grab these mushrooms, run along and spam them, but we can leave Steve here. He's got nothing else on, to be honest with you. He's happy to wait there for us. But yeah, I'll meet you back at base. Home, sweet home at last. It's been about 4 real days since I was actually back at my base. You know, this is really starting to... What is... JR token? JR token? I'm assuming Cloud's been editing my signs again. Stop it, Cloud. Yeah, this board is starting to annoy me now. It's I placed it here thinking, oh, it's only going to be here for a few days, but it's been here for the better part of like 3 weeks now. And I would really like to start getting... Oh, sweet, we've got a bunch of diamonds. I pinched 1 of each. Mac, thanks for the hard work. Screw you, Mac. But fair enough, he did give me the silence one, so I can't really complain. If he pinched one of each, how many diamonds would that actually be? It would be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. It'll be 14 times 7. That's maths that I can't do. I don't know. I think it's definitely more than that, but yeah, I don't really care. He dropped me off a bunch of diamonds before anyway, and we've got enough stockpiled that we're not hurting too much for him. But we still got a good few stacks of ores to break, and we've still got a full stack of diamond blocks in our little goodies chest, so not hurting, it's fine. Although I think I should give him something that he has to do extra, like create a gauntlet of some type for him, just for fun. So next episode, what I want to do is actually do the ward armor trim, because that way I can get rid of this board and put stuff away where I want them to actually go, rather than it taking up this big section in the middle of our base, because all of these boxes here are left because I wanted a just sort of a reminder of all of the goodies that we sort of collected along our way as well. And there is quite a few bits of decent goodies, including a whole ton of bookshelves. Soul Speed 3, enchanted golden apples, ancient debris, pickling brute heads, and pig step CDs. I still need to get the new record from the Trail of Ruin, so that's something that we can probably do as well next episode. But what we want to do is see what our next main project is going to be. So remember, we go along the corridor and up the stairs to figure out what it is that we're doing next. Oh yeah, and we've been adding these potion things to indicate different modifiers that we have to do for the next following project. So yep, let's sort of speed this up to see where it lands on. And we're on 7. So we're along this line here, and then we can hit it again to see what our options are. Going to FreeCam. So Industrial District Project, Firework Factory, Twisting Vine Farm, Warden Farm, New Improved Copper Farm, please not a raid farm, Basalt Generator and Cobble Generators. Like, both of them generators, I will probably end up making it a lot more complex than where it needs to be, but the concept behind them are very, very simple. Similar for the Twisted Vine Farm. No idea what I would do for the Industrial District Project, but raid farm is probably the one that I'm hoping. But we've got an 8. An 8 is the top one, so Cobblegen, you know what, we can actually probably throw that in with our next episode, doing the whatchamacallit, thank you, doing the ancient city and another trail ruins in order to try to find the record and the armor trim. So I will see if, for some reason I thought I just said cobble. I will see if either Cloud or Sai wants to join me in doing an ancient city. I don't think I'm yet to do one without dying. We can move you over to completed, move you over to the active. I need to put away all of these boxes as well. But these are all like completed projects, and we are sort of making room and progress on our board. We do actually have to replace that one with a no active modifier. Let's go with you. With Pet Parrot. Okay, that one's not terrible. That one's not actually bad at all. We just have to make sure we have a parrot with us during the entirety of the episode. Hopefully there's not a lot of freaking flying around. I'll probably go pick up my pet parrot that's over at Clouds in order to do that modifier, but nevertheless, hopefully you've enjoyed today's episode. Hopefully you are happy with the mushroom farm. We've got normal mushrooms as well as mushroom blocks, all now I'd say semi-automated. Obviously not fully automated because manual harvesting and breeding of the mushrooms and whatnot, and the shearing, so there's a lot of manual work. But to be honest with you, I like that about some farms, is that there's something for the player to actually interact with and do. Freaking Cloud. He's been setting these up everywhere that I go. God. It's either Cloud or Mac getting me back, because I got Mac with the ones going to the end tunnel. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed today's episode, and hopefully I'll catch you all in the next one. Bye bye.